has a lot of support globally. Every country that we've walked through it understands it's not just very reasonable, but it's the right thing for the world to get done.
Breaking news this morning, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says there could be some news as soon as today on a deal to end the war with Iran. President Trump himself over the weekend saying it's largely negotiated. A senior administration official telling News Nation's Katie Pavlich the framework includes a 60-day ceasefire extension to reach final deal points. It would reopen the Strait of Hormuz and clear it of any mines. It would also require Iran to commit to give up its nuclear dust. And the U.S. insists that Iran gets nothing until they actually deliver. Retired U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Bernie Flowers joining me now. Sir, good to see you.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing so well. Thank you very much for joining me on this Memorial Day. We're looking at new tweets and Truth Social posts from the president coming into our newsroom at this time. He writes that the deal with Iran will either be a great and meaningful one or there will be no deal. Rather divisive language, I suppose, when you see both polar opposites there. How confident are you that maybe within the next few days, maybe even within the next few hours, that a deal could be reached?
Alex, we've been down this road before, and the president is doing everything that he can to hold a line. I get it. Yes, the Iranians are kind of slippery when it comes to negotiations, but, you know, if we can get the International Atomic Energy Agency, their inspectors in, if we can open that strait and start doing some traffic with the oil for the rest of the nations, I think we're going to be in good shape. And that's where they're working towards. It's just a matter of the Iranians holding to the words that they put out.
As my parents would tell me growing up, they would say words matter. And there was a lot of words that came out over the weekend, in part, President Trump saying that the deal was largely negotiated. And then all of a sudden there was sort of a backtrack saying, hold on, we're not going to really rush into this. Tell me about how words might matter when it comes to the art of negotiating with other foreign powers. Is it possible that Iranian regime leadership might see something like that, optimism on the side of their foe, and end up torpedoing the deal because they just don't like the way that this conversation is being had?
Well, Alex, we come from two different worlds, I'm getting deep into this, but the Judeo-Christian way of doing things, I mean, your word is your word. I don't want to put anybody down, but their style of negotiating is about not necessarily always telling the truth. There's some other words I could use, but I shouldn't say them on the air like that. But we can't really trust these folks. But the bottom line is that we hold their economy in our hands at this point, and we can't afford to let them have a nuclear weapon. That is just absolutely unacceptable. And I think the rest of the world sees things our way. So the president just needs to hold the line.
All right, so a part of this framework that's been outlined by Trump administration officials to our News Nation reporting team is that there is an agreement that would extend the ceasefire for 60 days in order to reach some of those other final deal points. Tell me about that structure and your opinion of it. Is it a good idea to use a model like this where you're essentially giving them timelines to finalize some other details? I mean, to your point, they may say one thing but do the other, and isn't this just giving them more time to renege?
These people, this isn't the first time that we've operated with them before. And you got to remember, you're not dealing with regular folks here. You're dealing with mullahs who believe in their version of the second coming. I know it sounds a little crazy, but they have a hidden agenda. But I think that the timelines that the president has laid out, the 60-day, kicking the tire thing, I think that is the way to do things. Let them operate off of milestones. And once we do that and they hold steady with their milestones, we hold steady with the things that we promised, I think it's going to be okay. But in the meantime, trust but verify.
Yeah, and ultimately there should be some landmarks that are hit along the way, the slow but sure reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, the mines getting out of the way. It's like you're giving a little, you're taking a little along the way, right?
Right, I would agree with that. And this mine clearing process, it's slow and deliberate. It's not an easy thing, even with the automation that we have. So we have to be very, very careful about that. And again, one of those one of those oil tankers goes up, gets blown up, and it changes the whole game, and people lose confidence in it. So we have to be slow, deliberate, and I think the president is doing the right thing. Let's just stay the course.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me of the physical challenges that come along with it. It's not just policy and economics, it's also clearing very dangerous mines from a very large
It's
body
a
of
rough
water.
business.
Lieutenant Colonel Bernie Flowers, thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, Alex.
American